everybody, thank you for joining us here at the First Alert Desk for our top 5 news stories at 1. We're going to be taking you through the latest of what's going on here in Atlanta and what we've been talking about in the headlines around the country. So let's get straight into it. I'm Maria Moreau. Starting with an investigation out in Powder Springs, taking you out to that, a Cobb County neighborhood, now back to normal as of this afternoon. But what was earlier an hours-long SWAT standoff has finally ended with an arrest. A man has been placed in handcuffs and an investigation continues on. Now, we were told by police that the suspect has been identified as James Petty. He was wanted in an aggravated assault case. We're told he allegedly barricaded himself inside a home on Robertswood Drive, that's in Powder Springs, refusing to leave, leading to that SWAT situation that we took you out to. Now, more than 4 hours later, there was a surrender and Petty was taken in under arrest. That investigation remains going at this time. Good news in all of this, no injuries from what we've been told by law enforcement. And getting you out to another story that's going to be affecting a lot of travelers in Atlanta. Parking problems at HARTSFIELD-JACKSON International Airport. You can expect that to continue for quite some time as construction projects head underway. Now, this project that I'm talking about is a massive undertaking involving replacing the airport's aging parking decks. That's the north and south decks that we're talking about. Repair work on the existing deck is already affecting travel from what we've been covering all morning. We took you out to a press conference just hours ago where officials addressed that. They took the time and said to expect those impacts to continue, but that they would do everything to minimize how many travelers experience issues as they're navigating this construction site. Now, we did take you out on Atlanta News First at noon to HARTSFIELD-JACKSON International Airport, where Rebecca Schramm really showed you what the undertaking is for this project.
I'm in the north parking deck where it's a little tougher to find somewhere to park right now. Look at this. This side of the deck is open, but as you look over here, they've got an entire section blocked off here as they get ready for the construction. It is a big project that takes a lot of workers and a lot of coordination. Take a look. The sign as you pull up gives you a warning. It says North Deck Parking Limited. What they're doing here is similar to what they did for the last 9 months for the South Parking Deck. They're finishing up that part of the project now. It's part of a massive undertaking to eventually replace the airport's parking decks on the domestic side, which are about 40 years old. For now, though, they're reinforcing the existing decks to add a few more years of life to them. The work on the north parking deck will take place over the next year or so, and airport officials are scheduled to meet with reporters later this morning to provide some more details for us on their timeline. In the meantime, if you're headed to the airport anytime soon, do yourself a favor and check out our website, atlantanewsfirst.com, or our Atlanta News First app. We've got an article there that has some links that'll tell you which parking decks are full, which parking lots are full, and you can even reserve a parking spot on through our story that's on the website there. In Atlanta, Rebecca Schramm, Atlanta News First.
And yeah, just as Rebecca was saying, those links are going to be very helpful in these coming months. I'm taking you out to a live look at HARTSFIELD-JACKSON Atlanta International Airport. But as our reporter Rebecca Schramm mentioned, we do have those resources available to you. Those links include a reservation so you can work ahead and plan your spot out, but it'll also tell you what the situation is looking like so you don't have to get there and then find out and navigate through all that. So some helpful tools for you, but it is just a beautiful day, and I'm going to drop my graphics. I want to see you help you see this plane that's about to take off or might be taxiing, but a beautiful day out at HARTSFIELD-JACKSON Atlanta International Airport. And on to some lighter news and some hopeful news, the fentanyl crisis. Let's talk a little bit about that. There has been somewhat you can call a scientific breakthrough. A research team at the University of Houston has developed a vaccine targeting the dangerous synthetic opioid known as fentanyl. Now, that vaccine has had a breakthrough discovery and could have major impacts on the nation's opioid epidemic, especially as a relapse agent. Now, what I'm talking about here, the fentanyl vaccine could be coming soon. Right now, research shows opioid use disorder is treatable, but about 80% of those that are dependent on this drug are there's a higher chance for them to relapse. So this just could be game changing. And that research showing that the vaccine has not had any adverse side effects in immunized rats that are involved in current lab studies. The team at University of Houston saying that it plans to start manufacturing clinical grade vaccines in the coming months with clinical trials on humans planned soon. So this could be, like I said, a game changer for taking on the opioid epidemic, taking on the fentanyl conversation. Our Adam Murphy will have more on this for you on our Atlanta News First News at 4 and 6. Now, taking you to a story that we've been talking about here in the newsroom, and from what I've seen across social media, this spy balloon that you're going to see here on video in just a second, that has caught the attention of several news outlets, definitely, but also people talking about this on Twitter, on Facebook. A Chinese spy balloon was caught floating over the U.S. for several days. It was actually spotted yesterday over Montana, which is home to some of the nation's most sensitive nuclear missile facilities. Now, officials are saying that they are tracking the balloon but have chosen not to take it down at this time. In fact, a Pentagon spokesperson said the balloon poses no threat to residents below or commercial air traffic, and China claims the balloon is actually a weather research satellite that was just blown off course. The U.S. has described this as a surveillance satellite. So, believe what you will, those are the two explanations from both countries. And as we talk about today, it's a very special day here, and part of it is wearing red. As you can see, I'm wearing red right now, and our Atlanta News First team this morning was wearing red all morning long and into our noon show, and that is because February is American Heart Month. It's a great time to raise awareness about cardiovascular disease, and today especially, February 3rd, is National Wear Red Day. Wear red to support women battling heart disease. So if you have someone in your life, a loved one, a friend, even a stranger, and you want to support them in a special way, the best way to do that, donate to these cardiovascular research and combat research facilities and organizations, but also wear red. Raise awareness through sporting the color. Let people know to also sport their red if you can. Shout us out on social media at Atlanta News First with your red colors to support American Heart Month and women battling heart disease. And speaking of, as we have this conversation, it's very important to also consider getting a checkup. Now, doctors are saying it's especially vital for women to pay attention to all kinds of symptoms surrounding heart and cardiovascular problems. The American Heart Association even says that less than half of women recognize this threat, and it can impact your health, life events, pregnancy, menopause, stress, and overall your age and your lifespan. So make sure that you get tested. It's a routine, a good idea to just get that checkup done for yourself and make sure that you are in good standing. All right, thank you so much for joining us here for your top 5 stories with Atlanta News First. We'll be back at 2 p.m. and we're going to try to do these every weekday for you, just to get you caught up on the latest of what's happening out in the news world and in your community. So we'll be back here at the top of the hour at 2 p.m. with the